Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to install MySQL on Windows machine. I am using Windows 11, but this process is same for all the Windows versions. So let's get started. First go to MySQL website. There you can find this download tab. Click it. Then here you can see three options: MySQL Enterprise Edition, MySQL Cluster CGE, and MySQL Community Downloads. So these Enterprise Edition and Cluster CGE are paid versions. So here we are going to install the MySQL Community Downloads because it is the free option and it is the one most of the MySQL users are using. So in the MySQL community downloads, you can see all the MySQL tools available for free. So you can see MySQL YAML repository, app repository, community server, cluster, router, shell, workbench, MySQL installer for Windows, MySQL for Visual Studio. So here we are selecting MySQL community server. So we go to a new page. Here you can see that here you can see select operating system. So there are several options for operating systems and we are selecting the Microsoft Windows. That's why I said this process is same for all Windows versions. Then they have given a recommended download, MySQL installer MSI. You can see there are other two options here. The zip archive is required when you want to download the zip file and install manually. The process is a bit difficult more than the installing through the MySQL installer. So we will use in this recommended option. Go to download page. In this new page, you can see another two options. In this first one is a smaller one and the second one is a larger one. In this first one, we just download the installer first and then download the tools during the installation process. In this second option, we download the product completely at the beginning and then do the installation. So this large downloading this larger one will be easy for our installation process. So we are going to use that one. Click download. Then you go to a new page. Here they ask you to sign up for a free account. Now it is not required because they also have an option here. No thanks, just start my download. So I will click that. It will start the downloading. Okay, now my downloading has finished. So I will click it. So here you are asked to choose a setup type. Now there are several options. You can click each option and see a description about it on the right side. Here developer default includes MySQL server, MySQL shell, MySQL router, MySQL workbench, MySQL for Visual Studio, examples and tutorial documentation. It includes all the tools needed for a developer. So we are going to install that. However, if you only need to install server, you can select this option. Or if you want to install client only, you can select this option. If you don't understand the difference between these things, for now select the developer default. We will be talking about all these tools in future videos. So click next. So here they are asking for check requirements. Now, if you want to install MySQL for Visual Studio or my connector for Python, you need to have Visual Studio and Python already installed. So since I have installed them on this machine, I cannot install these two things. So they asked me to install Visual Studio Python manually. However, I don't need those things. So I am going to just click next. You also can click next here. Click next. Now they are ready to install, so execute. So all the tools are now installed. If you wonder what these tools are, let me give a brief explanation on them. So MySQL server is the real server. It stores the data. MySQL Workbench is a GUI database client. Database client is a tool that we use to write SQL queries and connect to server. We use the database client to send commands to the server, so the server can send the results we need. MySQL shell is a command line database client. Unlike Workbench, which is a GUI, in MySQL shell, you write commands in the shell. MySQL router is a tool for routing the traffic from one MySQL database to another. For example, when you build large applications, you have one primary MySQL database and few other replicas. So suppose that your primary database is down, then you need to route the traffic to the replica so the application will be available all the time. It is an important tool and we will discuss about it later. Connectors are used when you develop a web application and you want to connect to the database through the web application. You need the relevant connector relevant to the programming language you use to develop that web application. For example, you develop the web application using Java, you need the connector relevant to Java. This one, connector J. Somehow, if you don't see the connector you need for the programming language you use, you can download it later. It's not a problem. Others are the MySQL documentation. You will need it whenever you have a question and samples and examples. So click next. So next we have to configure three products, which is MySQL server, MySQL router, and samples and examples. So click next. So then type and networking. We are installing MySQL with the default configuration in this tutorial. So unless you have a specific use case, you don't have to change anything here. This port is the one you need to remember. It's always this number 3306. So don't change it unless you have another service running on that port. So let's keep it 3306 for now. This authentication method, I also recommend you to keep it in default configurations. So here you have to give the root password. Whenever we install MySQL, they create a root user. And here you have to give the password and you need to remember it. I am giving a simple password. So if you want to create additional users, you can do it here. For example, when you want to allow the permission to another user to work with your database. So here you can give a username, host, and role. These are various roles that have all the privileges. So be careful when you make someone admin. I am not going to create any users here. Click next. So you can leave these settings as it is and click next. So yes, this is just click next. Now we are applying the configuration. Click execute. So it's done. Click finish. Now MySQL server configuration is complete. We need to configure the MySQL router. Click next. So as I said, we don't talk about the router here, so you can leave all these settings as it is and click finish. So next we have to configure samples and examples. Click next. Just leave this and give here your root password and check. So it's all correct. Click next. So again applying configurations, click execute. Now click finish. So all the configurations are completed. Click next. So that's it. Installation is completed. Now here two ticks here. So once you click finish, they will open MySQL Workbench and MySQL shell. You needed them to interact with the MySQL server as I said earlier. So click finish. Here is the MySQL shell and this one is the MySQL Workbench. We will talk about them in another video. So I hope this video helped you to install MySQL on your Windows machine. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel so you can see more of these kind of videos. Thank